You knew Jeffrey Epstein, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. We flew Bill Clinton.
Smokey? They got Smokey in the motherfucking pictures too? No wonder this man gave his life to Christ. We ain't about to get Rush Hour 4 anymore. They about to rush his ass to prison. Let me stop because I don't know if he did anything, but fool. Katt Williams did.
After years of dodging questions and brushing off rumors, Chris Tucker is back in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. Katt Williams just cracked the door wide open by accusing Tucker of being way too close to the Epstein mess, including alleged ties to the island that keeps popping up in sealed files and whispered conversations.
I know Cube want to do another one because Cube, of course, it's like, he kind of created Fridays, and I was in the first one. Yeah. And Cube, after I did the first Fridays back then, I never thought about doing sequels. I always wanted to do a good job and keep moving to the next movie. So Cube asked me back in, I think it was 96 or 97. He's Chris, we want to do it. And I was just like, nah, I don't want to do another Fridays. I want to do like Eddie Murphy and them did. I want to do Money Talks. I did Money Talks and then eventually did Rush Hour. I said, I don't want to do another. And he said, what? You sure? I was like, nah, I don't want to do another. So he couldn't believe it. But he kept moving, and he got Mike Epps, and they went and did another one, and it was great. He did two of them, and they were great.
Tucker spent years acting like none of this existed, but now that silence is looking real loud. It's not lost on anyone that Tucker once sat at the top of Hollywood cashing massive checks, then suddenly vanished from the scene. He later leaned hard into religion and public faith, but people are questioning whether that move was about redemption or distraction, especially now that newly released documents have people connecting dots that were never supposed to connect. The timing couldn't look worse. And for anyone confused about why Tucker walked away so abruptly,
Tucker not talked about being in next Friday, because I know it was Mike Epps, but
we wanted him. He turned it down. Yeah, we wanted to pay him $12 million to do that movie.
What?
And he turned it down. He said it was for religious reasons. He didn't want to cuss, and he didn't want to smoke weed on camera.
Here's the part that never sat right. When studios begged him to return for another Friday movie, he didn't hesitate. He flat out refused. Now here's where Chris Tucker's story starts falling apart fast. He claimed he was done with sequels, said he wanted to step away from that life, but that excuse doesn't survive basic fact-checking. Right after turning down another Friday, he jumped straight into Rush Hour, then doubled down with Rush Hour 2 and Rush Hour 3. So no, this was never about hating sequels. That excuse was weak. That contradiction is exactly when people started digging deeper.
You knew Jeffrey Epstein, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. We flew Bill Clinton and a lot of different. That was a humanitarian trip to Africa. And I met him on that trip because it was his plane. I didn't know who plane we was getting on, but it was a whole bunch of dignitary people. We was with a delegation. And yeah, I met him, and you don't know people, what they do in their private lives. So yeah.
But you gotta tell me this, Chris. You was on this private plane, and you could tell that it was a private plane because they called it, was it Lolita Express?
Oh yeah, it was a private plane. Yes. Oh yes.
But wait a minute. You didn't never go to that island, did you?
No. I don't know where that thing at.
Fans and insiders alike couldn't understand why someone would reject one franchise, then build an entire career off another. The only explanation Tucker kept offering was religion, saying he had changed and wanted distance from certain environments. He even claimed one reason he wouldn't return to Friday was because too many people on set were smoking and he didn't feel comfortable around it. And sure, that explanation sounded clean on the surface. All of this circles back to Chris Tucker's alleged connection to Jeffrey Epstein, and this is where things really start raising eyebrows. Tucker's name reportedly shows up in Epstein-related documents and flight records tied to a private jet trip back in 2002. Yes, the same jet that later became infamous because of where it traveled and who it carried.
You little freaky bitch. Please tell me this is AI. Please tell me this is AI, bruh. Please tell me this is Ellen Iverson. Say, Moby, this what you need to talk about, the fitting our face, ho. This what you want to talk about. Bitch, talk about this.
Chris and his team rushed in with damage control, saying he was only on that flight for a humanitarian trip to Africa. According to them, the focus was AIDS awareness and charity work, alongside high-profile figures like Bill Clinton and Kevin Spacey. But that explanation didn't exactly calm people down. It did the opposite. Mentioning Clinton only added fuel to the skepticism, especially with old photos and reports resurfacing that placed Clinton inside Epstein's properties. People aren't asking whether Tucker knew Epstein existed, they're asking how anyone could be that close to the circle and claim total ignorance. And when Tucker has been questioned about all this in interviews, viewers noticed something else. His body language shifted, his words got shaky, and he seemed eager to move on fast. He tried to downplay it like it was nothing, but the discomfort was obvious. As soon as the file started circulating, the public reaction was brutal. One person flat out said, "How do you explain this and still expect forgiveness?" Another added, "No wonder he suddenly got religious after Friday." That sentiment kept repeating everywhere, and people weren't buying the clean image reset at all. What made the humanitarian excuse fall apart even faster is that Katt Williams had already called this out years ago. Long before documents or timelines resurfaced, Katt publicly accused Tucker of being way too close to Epstein's circle. Back then, people brushed it off, said Katt was hating or jealous, and moved on. Turns out, Katt was just early. In January 2024, during his viral interview on Club Shay Shay with Shannon Sharpe, Katt brought Tucker up while talking about the idea of a new Friday. He said the Chris people see today isn't the same person he knew back then. Katt even said that if he didn't know better, he'd believe Chris was a genuinely good guy too. At the time, that comment confused people. Now it doesn't, because the moment those Epstein-related files dropped, Tucker rushed out a statement less than 24 hours later. That kind of speed doesn't look calm or confident. It looks reactive. Here's the part that really has people watching closely. The Epstein-related files are still being released piece by piece, and that means this story isn't done yet. If more information comes out tying Chris Tucker to Jeffrey Epstein beyond the humanitarian explanation he's been pushing, then the situation gets a lot harder to explain away. Right now, the pressure is building, and every new drop keeps the spotlight right on him. And of course, the public reaction has been loud. One person said, "You can't talk your way out of this when you're in multiple photos, not just one." Another pointed out that if someone truly had no involvement, their response wouldn't be awkward jokes or forced laughter. People said an innocent person would be angry, clear, and direct, not brushing it off like it's no big deal. Others questioned why anyone with money and influence would ever accept a ride on Epstein's plane in the first place. The argument was simple. If you have options, you don't put yourself in questionable situations. That logic is why so many people are refusing to fully accept the explanation they've been given. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think Chris Tucker is being unfairly dragged? Or do you believe there's more to his connection with Epstein than he's admitting? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video because it really helps the channel grow. And click here to check out the next messy breakdown you don't want to miss.